What's going on, boxing fans? I'm back here with another video here set for you guys. Gonna be talking about the DAZN Matchroom boxing card that they had in Frisco, Texas. That being with the Jesse Bam Rodriguez versus Cafu fight card. And in this one, I'm just going to be talking about the two main fights that are really the most important things to be able to talk about on this card, specifically the co-main and main event in this one. And starting off as we have pictured above, obviously, the co-main event, that being Diego Pacheco versus Trevor McCumbee. McCumbee coming off his loss, first career professional loss against Caleb Plant, where he had a lot of good moments in there, showing a lot of toughness, especially from the outside and the smarts and his IQ in terms of the intelligence of how good of a boxer he is. Very strong, has good power in his hands, but in terms of technique and technicalities, he is not that good, if we're being very honest about Trevor McCumbee, going against an undefeated Mexican star that they're trying to be able to really build around in the super middleweight division, getting a nice bump up in competition for him and getting a good or a really decent name on his resume, that being Trevor McCumbee. We had in Diego Pacheco. Pacheco has shown a lot of acumen, has a lot of power, is a Mexican fighter, has that Mexican style, but also has a little bit more layers to his game where he's able to show off his boxing. And while his boxing and his defense isn't the greatest, it is just enough to be able to have him go farther in his career. Where in this fight, obviously, you have McCumbee, who had a sort of, I wouldn't say breakout performance, but an outcoming performance because he's fought not a lot of any names. And while he hasn't fought any names, and he's over there and he's knocking Caleb Plant down, and he's having him go all over these places, and he's hitting him across all of all the ring. And then you have Diego Pacheco, a guy who's trying to be able to certify himself as a knockout artist. And this one was just a bleh. It was a blunder of a fight. Not much to be able to talk about. Pacheco just pretty much dominated this one throughout the entirety of this fight, using his jab, using his boxing, being defensively responsible. And it's nice to be able to see, again, earlier talking about him and his layers in his game, that he's, trying to be able to craft himself forward for, not just be a known Mexican puncher that can be able to get in these crazy type of fights and always get into knockouts. It's nice to be able to get rounds in, get the experience, and especially when they step up in terms of competition against a guy who also carries a lot of power in his hands, which could be a difficult type of matchup for a power puncher, especially a guy that's younger in his career. And, if he gets hit with a nice shot, he gets hurt, he starts to get wobble, yada, yada, yada. Things don't go their way. You know how these things usually break down if you're a boxing fan. But Pacheco, being defensively responsible, using his jab, using his ring IQ, just pretty much outfoxing Trevor McCumbee throughout the majority of the fight, and really just doing what he wanted to be able to do so in this one. And I liked really the performance that he put out there, and really, again, showing layers into his game where obviously other times it was hard to be able to see that in that one. But he defensively was responsible and still got the job done, regardless of the fact, and got the win over Trevor McCumbee. And now moving on to the main event, that being Jesse Bam Rodriguez going against, I'm not going to be able to say his first name because I don't want to be able to butcher it, but Cafu, South American boxer with an undefeated, or hasn't had any losses on his resume. I believe he had like 3 draws. Him also being a champion in this lighter weight division, going against Jesse Bam Rodriguez, who is just obviously, as of right now, looking and making his way to be able to creep into that top 3 pound for pound ranking, with having the names such as Inoue in front of him, Terrence Crawford, and Alexander Usyk, who had a tremendous performance also as well this Saturday afternoon for us Americans. Was really being able to do the things that he wanted to be able to do and pursue in this one against Cafu. And just from the onset, you could be able to see what he wanted to be able to implement in this one. And it was very, very impressive. Cafu, I want to be giving a lot of credit to. He actually showed improved a lot more than what a lot of other fighters, especially against Jesse Bam Rodriguez, has shown so far. And that one in itself is just very, very impressive. But again, just from the first round, Jesse Bam Rodriguez is cornering in Cafu, having him in the corners, having him along the ropes, and really bringing in this type of pressure and having Cafu fight at the fight pace that he wants to be able to fight at. And just throughout the majority of the fight, that's exactly what was going on. Cafu was countering effectively, boxing actually really well, especially with his ring upon the ropes and in towards of the ringside. It was impressive. It was impressive performance from Kafu. Obviously, him being a huge underdog, not a lot of people expecting him to win or come out on top in this one, and him actually, making it a very competitive fight for Jesse Bam Rodriguez, who a lot of people not knowing the name Kafu is thinking that he's going to run ramshot on him and actually do whatever he wants to be able to do against him. So, with all these things being said, and Kafu actually making things competitive, and I believe for a couple of rounds, I wouldn't say a lot more of what a lot of other people want to be able to say in this fight actually went, I think, Kafu's way, because he was starting to be able to counter effectively, working better in terms of the angles against Jesse Bam Rodriguez, and started to implement a little bit more of the work that he wanted to be able to do so, making Jesse Bam Rodriguez slip a few times and defensively just doing just enough against Jesse Bam. But eventually, Jesse Bam started to be able to work those angles against Kafu, started to really wear him down, still bring on the pressure, throws in combinations, especially to the body. Jesse Bam Rodriguez was absolutely on another one, going work for work against Cafu to the body. I mean, he was absolutely unleashing hellacious body shots against him. And while he's doing so, he's just starting, again, to be able to wear him down, set things at his pace, really just being the ring general in this one. And eventually, in that 10th round, lands a nasty right hook that almost the referee wants to be able to call this fight off. But then, after a nasty scrimmage and Jesse Bam Rodriguez and Cafu tumble down to the ground, they get back up from the tumble. A little combination starts after that, and then eventually the corner from Cafu throws in the towel and wants to be able to finish this matchup against Jesse Bam Rodriguez. Very, very close and competitive fight. Jesse Bam Rodriguez, regardless of the fact, still comes out on top on this one, though, and really just does what he wants to be able to do so against him. And again, very impressive performance out of Jesse Bam Rodriguez, still showing that he is still pound for pound one of the best boxers in the game as of right now, and a lot of credit give it to him, man. I mean, Jesse Bam Rodriguez is just on another level as of right now, and I don't see anybody besides a Junto Nakatani or a Naoya Inoue really giving him any type of issues as of right now in these lighter weight divisions. And those are the only type of fights I want to be able to see out of Jesse Bam Rodriguez in the future, if I'm going to be quite honest about it. But yeah, obviously like this video. If you obviously like this video, comment your opinions about Jesse Bam Rodriguez and his performance against Cafu, as well as Diego Pacheco, and what you want to be able to see out of him in his future as well. And subscribe, boxing fans. You're here for a reason. You obviously love this type of content, and I love giving you this type of content. So let's continue on sticking together. Thank you guys again for watching again, and peace.